Binge the full week ad-free over at patreon.com/inspired disorder.
What you manifest in your mind, you can bring to reality.
What is up, everybody? Welcome to a new episode of Swipe Up, the 125th episode of the show where I share some of my favorite posts from Instagram. Let's get it started, shall we? Let's dive right into it with some sad news for all the conspiracy theorists and white supremacists and Trump fans out there. I know they're all crying and complaining about cancel culture and whatever they define as censorship. But Gina Carano, former MMA fighter, somebody that pioneer in women's MMA, let's just say, retired many years ago, been in many movies, acting, has just been let go from the Star Wars franchise. I believe she was in The Mandalorian, due to some social media posts. Not surprised. Let's just start here. You know how many low-income jobs, low-income employees get fired all the time for shit they post on social media. So for somebody who's an actor, probably has plenty of money, I don't think she's worried about how her rent's going to get paid unless she's bad with her money. But I don't really have a lot of sympathy for somebody who has a lot of money getting fired from a job because they post a lot of QAnon and conspiracy and hateful shit on their Twitters. I don't have any sympathy for it at all. I think it's hilarious that all these people. It's sad that the way they frame their tragedies can fool some of the kind of liberal people who may not know what she posted. And I don't even know all of the things she posted. I just remember I read an article. It was on MMA, and it was about it was an MMA article. I think Bloody Elbow wrote it, and it was showing all of the UFC, not all UFC, but all the MMA fighters who former, present, who were pro-Trump and really spouting out a lot of the conspiracy theories and things that were leading up to the election. Or even it may have been all of them saying how the election was stolen. I can't remember. A lot of their nonsense really just kind of blends together, and I it's hard to pay real attention to it. But it was a bummer. I remember specifically being bummed out to see Gina Carano in this list of ignorant MMA fighters who are just Trump nut huggers. They they believe in QAnon, and it's interesting that MMA Reporter was the one to kind of collect all of that stuff. So not surprised that Gina Carano, people comparing this to the blacklisting of the during in Hollywood for like communists, kind of categorizing actors and directors, blackballing them from the industry because they were accused of being communist. It's like that whole thing was based on nothing. That was just a way for people to keep people out of the business for whatever reason, for a lot of reasons, I'm sure. She posted ignorant, hateful shit on her Twitter, and she lost a job because of it. You know how many people who make minimum wage lose jobs or just don't post things online because they're afraid of being terminated? For the last decade, normal people have been concerned about, very focused on what they post online because they're afraid of being fired, because people get fired all the time for shit they post online. So for some actress who's got money to cry about it, boo-hoo. Boo-hoo. I mean, keep your opinions to yourself maybe, or read actual books. Stop watching YouTube videos for your information. But either way, I'm not surprised that a company like Disney would try to distance themselves from actors that are outspoken for a movement that tried to overthrow the government. So boohoo, no tears shed for Gina Carano. And I don't even like Star Wars. I think Star Wars is by far, Star Wars is the most overrated franchise in existence. People worship that franchise, and there's maybe 2 or 3 good movies. Maybe. But it is what it is. So, whatever. Let's move on to just something cool visually. This clip actually reminded me a lot of Train to Busan, the Korean zombie film. This is just a clip made of like CGI people running at each other. I mean, there's a train in the background, which is kind of something that just the scene in general reminds me of Train to Busan. Daytime, a train, and then just a bunch of people. Like the zombies in Train to Busan really acted. I guess I should point up here. The people, the zombies in Train to Busan really kind of ran and were just watch Train to Busan, and you'll understand why I enjoyed this. Now, this is funny, obviously, but yeah, the kind of relentless running of mindless CG people, very similar in a lot of ways to Train to Busan. All right, let's move on again to something that. Let's move on to our last post for this episode of Swipe Up. That's right, people. The where's this, in Mexico, right? Yes, it's a Mexican sculpture. I would imagine this church is in Mexico, but they made a giant baby Jesus that has a striking resemblance to Phil Collins, and it is hilarious. I don't really care about any organized religions. I think they're all ridiculous cults for the most part. Not to say that there's not a huge percentage of those people who are good people and are trying to better their lives and trying to do good. But the organizations themselves, especially Christianity, they're just business. They're businesses selling snake oil. All they care about is your money. They don't care about you. Some of them try and do things, but so many of them are just trying to get your money, selling you nothing, selling you hope, selling you whatever. Dude has to memorize 52 stories. Doesn't even have to memorize. Dude has to get 52 stories to tell once a week, pretend like he's some kind of, or she's some kind of touched by God person. So it's hilarious that they created a baby Jesus statue, which is just ridiculous anyway, to have a giant baby statue that you're going to worship. Like, I mean, for a religion that tells you not to worship stuff, they tend to worship a lot of idols. The Phil Collins baby is hilarious, and it's just the ridiculousness of the reality that we're living in. And it's not even like the statue itself isn't necessarily good. It looks like a paper mache statue that you would see on a float during some kind of town bicentennial parade. But yeah, hilarious stuff. So let's get out of here, shall we? Let's do some shout outs and let you go. So let's shout out to LA Times, D_Photoshop_4_U. Shout out Haiti.Haiti.Moss. Shout out Pixie Time _ or Prixie Time, I'm sorry, _ and shout out All Things Comedy, but most importantly, shout out to you. Make sure you support our sponsor, Ting, that's cell phone service at a reasonable price. Get yourself $25 in credit either to apply to a new phone or your monthly bill. It's the best coverage, same low rates, now with 3 coast-to-coast networks. Go through my link, inspireddisorder.com/Ting, and get yourself $25 in credit. New episodes of The Ray Taylor Show come out every single day. Subscribe on IGTV, YouTube, and everywhere else podcasts are found. Binge the full week ad-free over at patreon.com/inspireddisorder. Buy Ray Taylor Show merch over at inspireddisorder.com and follow the show on Instagram at Ray Taylor Show. Have a wonderful day, everybody. Peace out.